Hey everyone, I'm here with my roommates, Matt and Naya, and Nolan, why are you wearing your Texas Rangers shirt?
Well, just to root for myself.
You didn't lose your suit again, did you?
Well, I put it in the washer and it was
Not again.
dry
Nolan!
clean only.
You're supposed to wear your suit. Here, let me fix this. Ah, perfect. That's much better.
Much better.
Much better.
That was really cool, guys, but where'd my glasses go?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Alright, much better.
Ah, good.
Oh.
Why are you wearing your Texas Rangers shirt anyway?
They're not even in the World Series.
Yeah, like who is it that they're all rooting for these days? The Cubs?
I'm rooting for the GOAT.
Oh, touche. Alright, so anyway, now we're through with that little fiasco. Thanks, Nolan.
You're welcome.
We're going to talk about the Christian film Fireproof. As you know, we have been talking about Christian films and how to make them better. And last time we talked about God's Not Dead. And Matt has written a rewrite of Fireproof. And Matt, why don't you talk about your rewrite and how it improves the original?
Well, alright, Chad. So, basically, the main three problems with the original, there is no character connection. Like, there's no real reason why I care about Caleb Holt.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, basically, there is a flannel board character for a sermon on marriage and what happens when marriages don't work.
Right.
Same thing with Catherine, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Second problem is that there is no real backstory. It kind of goes to character connection. There's no real reason why I care about the story. And thirdly, it's a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
I don't need to know all about their finances. I mean,
No.
it's like the obligatory Kendrick's Brothers movie scene where they talk about their finances?
Yeah. All of them have them except like Courageous.
Pretty much. So it's kind of obligatory, I guess, but I don't get the point of it. You want to whip out the expositional hammer.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, those are the three problems, and they're pretty easy to fix. You just have to show Caleb and Catherine Holt how they got together, show them together when they're happy and they're in love, and then show how they drift apart, because there's no real explanation for that in the movie. They just do because the movie needs it, and because basically one of them is a jerk, possibly both of them.
Yeah.
We all know the jerk can't be Kirk Cameron, but it's got to be one of them.
Yeah.
So you're just fixing that part, showing how they got together, showing them before they drift apart, showing them when they drift apart, and trying to keep the exposition to minimal. Show, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would really recommend the Kendrick's Brothers go watch silent movies after, just go watch those, learn how to tell movies with pictures. Tell stories with a picture.
Alright, so without further ado, here is our new and improved storyline for Fireproof starring Cameron!
So, the opening montage begins with a boy accidentally running into a girl with his bicycle after school and stopping to help her.
Montage cuts to a few years later in high school with this same couple going out on their first date.
The montage then shows them at the high school dance.
Then shows a romantic sunset picnic that turns into a picturesque proposal.
And cut to a wedding ceremony and glimpses of the honeymoon.
The first few years of their marriage are shown. Caleb and Catherine are in love, and they kiss every morning before he leaves for work.
The music goes sadder, though, when they have a miscarriage.
Their love grows colder as Catherine grows more distant because of the loss.
In the final two shots, we see Caleb leaving without saying goodbye, and then we see Catherine's sad expression at his forgetfulness.
In the final shot, though, she doesn't care anymore.
The movie cuts to a few years later with the fire that was spoken of at the beginning of the original movie.
Just skip the metaphorical foreshadowing afterwards and put some good action in there.
Fire is being shown on TV, a broadcast Catherine is watching during her lunch break.
Catherine's friend joins her and asks about Caleb, but Catherine hasn't heard anything.
She doesn't sound too concerned, though.
The doctor character from the original walks by and looks Catherine over, though she doesn't know it.
Also, let's make him a foreigner or something, like maybe a French person or a German or Danish, Scandinavian, something more charming than an American.
We cut to the fire where the incident referred to in the original occurs,
One of the firemen abandoned his partner.
but with a lot more emotion and urgency, and the culprit is actually Caleb.
They get back to the station and Caleb is being chewed out by his chief.
Caleb tries to defend his actions, but no one listens to him.
When he comes home again, he lets his anger out on his wife and dinner burns, shaking her, almost going so far as to hit her. He's a jerk.
He stops there, but instead of apologizing, he leaves the house. We see him later that evening at a bar, drinking.
Catherine is shown crying herself to sleep.
The next morning, Catherine gets up and goes to work, but Caleb still hasn't come home, that little jerk.
Speaking of little jerks, we find him slumbering on a park bench not too far from his house.
A policeman wakes him up and takes him home.
Catherine finally meets the now foreign doctor and exchanges pleasantries, but it is obvious to the audience that there's something more to the doctor.
She encounters the doctor again on her lunch break. He notices her troubled face.
Somewhat reluctant but also relieved, she lays out her basic problem, touching the still tender sore spot from Caleb's grip.
The doctor offers to take a look at it and tells her to put something on it when she gets home.
He leaves after. No, he leaves after. No!
What he means to say is that he leaves after kissing her hand. Yeah, he's European. He can get away with it.
We end the scene with her staring at her hand and glancing at the doctor.
Caleb, meanwhile, is moping around the house. Tries watching TV, but he's got a pretty bad headache.
Catherine comes home that evening but gives him the cold shoulder.
His next shift, Caleb is really grumpy, and it just gets worse when one of his coworkers, wife, and kid come by to see him.
He gets into a stupid argument with Mike, who realizes Caleb is just being contrary to release his anger.
Caleb becomes aloof and snappy. Mike tries to help him by talking some sense into him, but he dismisses the help.
That night, the alarm goes off and they go to another fire.
This time, Caleb tries to do his own thing again, but more so this time, and gets himself injured in the process.
His leg is burned and he is taken to the hospital where Catherine works.
She sees him but hurries off. Caleb's burn is treated and they tell him to take it easy for a week or two.
While in the hospital, he's visited by a priest who notes that
There's more wrong than just a burned leg, isn't there, my son?
Caleb replies sarcastically,
Yeah, burning marriage? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was a mistake.
and he gives an overview of his troubles.
The priest counsels him to be more loving, to which Caleb scoffs, and the minister says,
Well, if your marriage is burning, maybe you've turned the fire from one of love to one of hate. Maybe you should try making your marriage, so shall we say, fireproof.
Caleb laughs at an awful attempt at a pun, and after a few more nuggets of wisdom, the priest just leaves.
Catherine, meanwhile, has been having lunch with everybody's favorite doctor, and we find them strolling around the park after work in the glowing light of the setting sun.
The doctor quotes famous writers and poets with ease and has Catherine enthralled.
Caleb returns home and tries to fend for himself until his wife gets back.
She eventually gets in close to midnight but refuses to divulge where she has been, retorting,
As I recall, you never told me where you were the other night.
and they have a tense moment.
He accuses her of seeing another man, and she responds by saying,
What if I am? Why should I stay with a man so heartless he couldn't cry when I needed him to? Why should I stay with a man who wasn't there for me when my baby died? Where were you, Caleb? Where were you?
Caleb tries to defend himself, saying that he needed some space and that he thought she needed some space too to deal with her grief, to which she laughs sarcastically.
So, Caleb ends up sleeping on the couch.
In the morning, we see her quietly leaving the house as Caleb is still asleep. A little jerk.
Caleb kinda wakes up, tries to make breakfast, but he fails miserably.
He gets some fresh clothes on, and in doing so, finds Catherine's photo album.
He begins looking through it, sees pictures of their first date, their first dance, their wedding.
Pictures just all of a sudden end abruptly after the third anniversary.
He breaks down and determines to regain what he has lost. At least his face and clenched fists indicate this.
She comes home late again, and Caleb tries being nice to her for once. He's not a jerk anymore.
Caught off guard, she completely keeps her distance.
A couple of weeks go by, and Caleb even makes an effort to go to church.
Caleb is finally able to return to the station and resumes his duties, trying to be a better coworker and team player, They're not always succeeding. Still a little bit of a jerk.
But instead of getting closer, Catherine feels even more distant.
One morning, he returns from work and finds her ring on the dresser and a note saying that she's not coming back.
He breaks down and eventually puts it in his pocket with feelings of anguish. I feel sorry for the little jerk now.
He stops at church on his way to work, and we see him praying, and we hear him softly crying to God.
He checks in a day later for his next shift.
Meanwhile, we follow Catherine and the doctor up the stairs to his room after a night on the town.
On the way, she passes a newlywed couple, obviously still in their honeymoon phase, just returning from a date of their own.
A rapid succession of emotions passes across Catherine's face as she sees this display of young married love.
She sees flashbacks of her own early days of marriage, but composes herself and turns back to the doctor, who opens the door and they go inside.
But thankfully, on the floor above them, a careless act results in a fire that gets so out of control that half of the stations in the city are called, including Caleb's.
They arrive on the scene, and along with Mike, Caleb enters the burning building.
Caleb is unaware that his wife is there, so when he enters the building looking for victims, and he goes into the doctor's apartment, he is stunned.
Yep, that's right, folks. Absolutely stunned. He finds his wife and the doctor unconscious on the bedroom floor, and it hits him hard.
With a sickening horror, the reality of what she was doing dawns on him, and he is paralyzed at that moment.
Outside, Mike has found the young couple down the hall, seriously injured. He calls to Caleb, Caleb!
Caleb snaps back into reality and yells back he has two victims as well, and works to get them both out the window, where they're taking down a ladder.
Outside on the sidewalk, all the victims are receiving blankets and getting medical attention.
Catherine is fine, but the doctor is taken to the hospital immediately. He needs it.
The fire is finally under control, and Caleb is given a breather.
Seeing Catherine sitting on the curb and still shivering from the cold, Caleb walks up behind her and wraps another blanket around her.
She looks ashamed, doesn't say anything at first.
And finally, after about 20 hours of sitting there, she finally asks for his forgiveness.
He promises to forgive her on one condition.
He puts a ring on her finger and says,
Try not to lose it again.
The movie ends with a zooming out shot of them sitting on the sidewalk in the cold night air.
a smoldering building on the street across from them.
Her head resting on his chest, his arms around her. Man, ain't that mushy or what?
The end. Alright guys, well there you have it, another rewrite of another Christian film starring Kirk Cameron! Alright, before we go, we have a few announcements for all of you. Matt, you want to go first?
Sure. So since Pureflix and Kendrick's Brothers probably aren't interested in our ideas, which are much better than theirs, I've decided to take these concepts, write them as short stories, and I'm going to be putting them on my blog, my website, which is called A Rich Stream of Words. There'll be a link to that, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be down in the description down below, so make sure to check it out.
Right. It'll be a little while before they come out. Fireproof is almost finished with that story's fanfic format, so be looking out for that, and yeah.
Yeah, also, we are going to be having more of these coming out. Tell us what you liked about this video, what you didn't like, so we can improve on this for future videos. Also, we are starting a brand new YouTube series. It's going to be on a separate channel that we're going to start, hopefully in the not too distant future. It's going to be a parody of Mystery Science Theater 3000. We're calling it Misery Faith Theater 5000. It's a Christian parody of that show, because, you know, everything needs a Christian version.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah.
You know what the best part is? I'm not even gonna be in it.
Did you tell him?
No.
Alright guys, thank you again so much for watching this video. If you want to see the last one we did, which was about God's Not Dead, you can click on Matt's face. Put a link there for that. Also, we have an outtake reel for this one. You can see that by clicking on Nolan's face. And also subscribe to my channel for more videos like these and for video reviews. And you can click on my face for that. Alright, thanks again for watching. We'll see you all later.
hot too. I'm pretty warm right in here.
No. I think it was that really steamy story we were just telling.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, starring Kirk Cameron.